Hello, my name's Scott. I'm a professional magician and this is a magic review.
It's a kind of magic.
What are we doing here? What are we doing? My last review of Neat and Tidy 2.0 by Wayne Fox and TCC Magic was terrible. It's the first product that I've put into the bag o' shite. And this is slightly better. I mean, at least there's a little bit of merit to this, but it's only narrowly escaped the bag o' shite. And one of the main reasons for that is that Wayne credits someone else for a few routines that are half decent in the instructions for this. So most of what makes this half decent isn't even any of Wayne's work. Saltaura by Wayne Fox and TCC Magic, my TLDR on this is that it's okay. You make a mess doing it. It does have some merit to it. It is somewhat clever, and I think for some people in some situations it will probably work really well. That's my TLDR on Saltaura by Wayne Fox and TCC Magic. But what is Saltaura? It's very simple actually, and it's a nice idea or nice premise anyway. Basically, you take some salt, or you can also perform this with sugar. That looks like enough. And then you would have some spectators around, and then you take whatever it is that you're using, you put it over the top of the salt or sugar or other white powder if you're performing for politicians and bankers, and then under some nice presentation that Wayne does cover in the tutorial, you ask everyone if they can just put their hands on top of the glass or whatever it is that you're using. You snap your fingers, and that pile of salt or sugar has vanished, and then it can reappear anywhere you like. That is basically what Saltaura is. What do you receive when you purchase Saltaura? You receive this, which is more reminiscent to a ketchup bottle, but I know that some places do have salt or sugar and granulated additives in containers like this. So it's not completely uncommon, but also this has been chosen specifically with a small nozzle. I'm not fond of this. I don't like it. I think it's cheap, but it does get the job done. You also receive a TT, which is custom made, and then you receive a specially gimmicked pile of white granules reminiscent of sugar or salt. And I'm going to show you a comparison of a pile of real salt compared to the gimmicked pile of salt at the end in the final thoughts. That's what you receive in terms of gimmicks, and then you receive approximately 30 minutes of pretty good, pretty comprehensive instruction by Wayne. As I say in the earlier parts of the review, lots of the routining and the ideas are actually not Wayne's ideas. They're one of Wayne's friends. So I'm not entirely sure how much Wayne can be credited for all of this, but that's what you receive for $60. A TT, a small pile of granules that are kind of gimmicked, this little plastic bottle, and 30 minutes of instructions. $60. How easy is Saltaura? It's not that difficult to do. It's pretty easy, and I think that most people will be able to perform this, to be honest. There are no difficult sleights, the routining is quite simple, and the effect as a whole, in terms of the methodology and the workings, are quite clean and basic. So I think that pretty much anyone could perform Saltaura if they really wanted to. Reset time is really fast on Saltaura as well. There's a couple of moving elements that you will need to keep in your pockets, but Wayne takes you through that in the instructions, and it all kind of makes sense the way it sits in your pockets and the way that you retrieve and ditch things. The only thing that is an issue is the fact that you are going to be pouring salt or sugar on the table, and that does have to be thrown away. And the main routining that Wayne teaches you is first you pour a pile of salt to condition them, and you throw that off the table, or you put it back in the cup, which for me is not convenient and it makes no sense. I understand the point of that, but what I don't like is the mess that it leaves. So if you are going to perform this, know that part of the reset time you will have to clean up a handful of salt or sugar. Angles are pretty good for this. You basically cover everything with both of your hands and the cup or napkin, as Wayne says in the tutorial, but there are a few different things that you can cover this with. It's up to you to decide what you want to cover that pile of granules with. And then basically, because of the way that your hands are, you're pretty well covered from most angles. I would say that you're looking like a good 180 degrees in front of you from pretty much the sides all the way around. So I'd say that the angles are actually half decent for this. And with a little bit of misdirection and performance experience, I think you could probably perform this completely surrounded. Pocket space on Saltaura is not too bad as well. You have to carry this, or you can use a salt shaker or sugar sachet from a cafe or something like that. And in that case, you don't have to carry this around with you. And you can just use a sachet from the cafe, from the restaurant, wherever you may be performing this. That's the ideal situation. And then you only have to carry basically a TT in your pocket. That's all the pocket space that this is going to take up. It's very minimal in terms of the real estate that it's going to take up inside your pockets, and it's pretty easy to retrieve and ditch. It's not something that's going to be cumbersome in terms of pocket space. My final thoughts on Saltaura are that this is a lecture magic trick, and I imagine that Wayne probably sells this for like £20, £25, something like that at his lectures, and that's a half decent price for this. It's a nice idea, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense, but not all magic tricks have to make sense. You make a pile of salt or sugar disappear and then it reappears somewhere else, or it reappears in the packet. That's all that's really happening. But there is a nice presentation that Wayne talks about near the end of the tutorial that I think does justify it. Overall, my two main issues with Saltaura is, one, that it makes an absolute mess with salt or sugar. You're throwing it on the floor. Like Wayne actually says that when he's table hopping and when he's working in restaurants, he'll just take a pile of salt or sugar and he'll just throw it under the table. In the places that I perform, that is not okay. If that's okay in the places that you perform, and you're okay with throwing salt and sugar everywhere and under the table and just leaving a mess in your trail of magic, then go for it. I wouldn't want to be throwing salt or sugar around events that I'm at. The other issue with this is the price. $60. It's just a bit crazy. As I said, this is something that I imagine Wayne sells for £20 or £25 when he's doing lectures. And for that price, I think it's okay. But if you want to perform a really great routine where salt or sugar is disappearing, it's reappearing, and it's really an amazing routine, I would suggest Dave Bonsal's sugar routine, which you can find at propdog.co.uk. That's far superior to this. But if you just want to make a pile of salt or sugar disappear, then this is an easy, simple way of doing it. And I also want to show you, just before the end of the review, the difference between the two piles. So have a look now and you'll see the pile of real salt compared to the gimmicked pile. Now granted, people aren't going to be looking at this for too long, and I think it's relatively convincing, but you do absolutely need to add salt or sugar around it to make it look convincing. If you pretend to pour salt or sugar out and there's not loads of granules around the gimmicked bit, it's going to look a little bit sus. So I think this is a bang average product that's priced at double what it should be priced at. If you like it, it does what it promises to do. Wayne's instructions are pretty good, and you can definitely amaze some people with this. And if you like the look of this and you want to pick up a copy, you can go to TCC Magic and use my discount code EverythingMagicPro, and you'll get an exclusive discount on your entire order. Of course, as usual, there are a variety of discount codes for other magic shops and non-magic shops in the video description and the top pinned comment. That's the review for today. Leave a comment, hit the like button, subscribe, and I promise you the next few products that I review will actually be fantastic products.